And the fate of the all-important Phase 2 may be hanging by just a thread. Joining us now is a U.S. Army combat veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan and national security expert, Ricoh Danielson. Ricoh, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
So Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said this about the handover of the Bibas family. Take a listen.
All of Israel is united in grief. And as the Prime Minister of Israel, I vow that I will not rest until the savages who executed our hostages are brought to justice. They do not deserve to walk this earth. Nothing will stop me. Nothing.
Now, what Hamas was saying is that this family had been killed in an Israeli airstrike, and that's why their body parts essentially were scattered the way that they were. But Israel is saying with the intelligence they have, they were killed by their bare hands of Hamas. Could we see Israeli military reprisals for the deaths of the Bibas family?
Absolutely. I think it's time that the United States and Israel come together and show Hamas what time it is. Unfortunately, Hamas is prolonging the extension of releasing these hostages one by one, little by little, to strengthen their army. Remember, there's a deal on the other side that we give them 200 of detainees that will strengthen their forces. I think enough is enough. The United States has seen enough, especially when you have children being murdered and dismembered and whatnot. This is enough. So I think you're going to see the United States and also Israel in unison do a massive shock and awe and also a joint attack very precisely when Hamas is not expecting it. You'll probably see this within the next couple of weeks, maybe even a month.
This afternoon, we've been watching these anti-government protests in Israel. And look, they're holding signs, bring home the 63, don't blow this deal. And that's what's really the concern, is that Phase 2 will not happen. It seems like every time we talk to a family member of a hostage who's been released, along with their joy, they say, we have got to keep our eye on the ball to get these other hostages home. Do you think that's going to happen?
Yeah, I believe that the sausages will be coming home, hopefully in one piece and alive. If not, Hamas is going to have hell to pay on this one. I understand that the people want to have this in a deconflicted and de-escalated manner. Unfortunately, we cannot have our cake and eat it too. There will be bloodshed, and there has to be bloodshed, and it'll be at the cost of Hamas. So that's just something we just have to be accepting of.
Well, Ricoh, the Bibas family has been really critical of Prime Minister Netanyahu's handling of the hostages. One of the family members wrote this, quote, "There is no forgiveness for abandoning them on October the 7th and no forgiveness for abandoning them in captivity. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, we did not receive an apology from you in this painful moment." So that's what he said in a statement. So upon learning that Shari's remains had been returned today, the Bibas family more broadly had this to say. This is another quote from them. "In this difficult time, we continue to demand the immediate return of all the remaining hostages, as I said. Nothing is more important than that. There will be no healing without them." So do you think they have a point here?
They do. Unfortunately, there was a failure. As a world leader, you have to accept failures and step up and step forward and take ownership of it. So unfortunately, this is one of those moments that possibly Netanyahu should have done something better, should have done faster, and we will always be on the objective on the outside looking forward. But the reality situation is you have to be very mindful that leaders have to take responsibility of this, and that he could have done something way better. So absolutely.
Well, we're just noticing President Donald Trump taking the stage there in National Harbor, Maryland, at CPAC. This is very much a victory lap for him. What do you expect him to say about everything going on in Israel and Gaza right now?
Absolutely. Trump will more than likely come out and say they have a good deal going forward, but unfortunately, they're still going to have to hell pay, and that they're in the rebuilding phases and working in conjoint with the Arab nations to restabilize the region.
All right. You know, when he was in the Oval Office, just a little over a week ago, saying Hamas better send all of the hostages home, return every single one of them by Saturday. That wasn't today. That was last Saturday, and it didn't happen. Is that a sign of weakness?
No, that's not a side of weakness. That's a side of precision and also calculated risk, along with strategic chess playing. He's giving them the opportunity, and if he doesn't deliver, I'm pretty sure they're not going to deliver again. They're going to have hell to pay. It's just a matter of how and when.
Okay, and how do you expect him to be speaking to the crowd here while also knowing that cameras are rolling and folks are watching across the country on the other side of the aisle as well?
Yeah, so he's going to actually does what he does very well is have a well-balanced, compassionate perspective of it. At the same aspect of having a firm hand saying, hey, we have to deal with these things in our nation. We also have to deal with these things in the Middle East. And it's a matter of probability and likability of us showing those things up together in unison. The eye in the picture, the bigger prize at hand.
What do you make of his saying that Gaza should be under U.S. ownership?
I think that was one of the best strategic chess moves he's ever done. If you really think about it, take a step back, he said, if you don't take care of it, I will. And he said, I'll make it one of the world's biggest economic drivers in the world. At that point, it enticed the Arab nation, the Arab neighborhood and whatnot, such as Jordan and Egypt, to come forward and actually say, hey, we'll start restabilizing the region. And here's how we're going to do it. Jordan stepped up saying they wanted 3,000 children who are sick. Egypt said they'll have a certain area that they'll have certain refugee camps and whatnot. So I think it's a very much of an enticing thing to do.
All right, Ricoh, thank you so much. It appears Donald Trump is just about to begin speaking there at CPAC. Once again, this is an annual gathering of conservatives. Let's go ahead and listen in.